What if on your next business trip you were able to accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish and have more fun, have less stress, and come home with plenty of energy? It's actually possible. I just got back from a trip where I experimented on myself, an N of 1, and I want to share with you everything that I did as an experiment and tell you the result. Welcome. I am so glad that you are here. Welcome to the Vireo Life community. I am Sherry Traxler with Vireo Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life God's Way. I just got back from a trip, and with that, before the trip, I decided I want to experiment with kind of frequent flyer fitness. And I want to make sure that you've subscribed and clicked that notification bell because this is a 4-part series and I don't want you to miss any of it. We're going to be talking about stress and enjoying and having fun in this video. And we'll also be talking about healthy eating, nutrition, movement, exercise, fitness, as well as sleep for business travel. 3 areas that I experimented with for having fun and decreasing stress on this business trip. 1 relates to building relationships. The second is doing something unique to the area to amp up the fun, and that also gives more energy when you get home. I'll tell you about that result in a moment. And number 3 is stress management for the travel piece itself. How do we handle that as things have changed? My first experiment, I decided to do something I've never done before. Fun part of getting ready for travel is I'm at Healthy Body Bakery getting some treats for some new friends that I'm going to be meeting there. I've never taken gifts before. If I go to somebody's house and I want to build that relationship, I'm going to take a gift to the host or the hostess.
Okay, you want me to put on a plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because they like vanilla, they said, I'm going to see if they have the vanilla muffins.
Yep, it's down at the bottom.
Sweet, okay. When I showed up with those gifts, simple as they were, local gifts to my area, they were astounded. And not only did it help from a relationship building and set a whole atmosphere of giving and kindness, it actually helped in the business end of it as well. My second experiment got inspired by a couple of my clients. 2 of my clients who travel regularly with their business, not just a few times a year, but the bulk of their business involves travel. One, he goes to the same places over and over, and he has decided that he's going to do something unique each time that he goes. He has even found a place that does circus training, and he's learned how to do trapeze acts and all this crazy stuff, but it keeps him looking forward to the travel and makes it feel refreshing to him. My other client who travels quite often with her business, she goes different places and she always looks for a new place to hike, or she will rent a bike and find some bike paths and see a new town in that way. For me, I decided that I wanted to stay and play in unique ways for this area. I was going to New Hope, Pennsylvania as my final destination, and it has a lot of history, so I decided to play on that. I'm so excited. This is the Aaron Burr House. This is where I am getting to stay for this training and conference. This being my room for this conference, this is the Federalist Room at the Aaron Burr House. The Aaron Burr House is where Aaron Burr fled to after the duel with Hamilton. To avoid some travel stress, which I'll tell you about in a minute, I decided to arrive much earlier than I would with other business travel. And that gave me some time to play. My first lunch was at this little cafe I found. And I knew that if travel went well and smoothly, I would have a few hours on Sunday afternoon before the early Monday meeting. And I said, well, they're doing a historic walking tour, they're doing train rides, I'm going to catch those. Perry Mansion is where our tour started, and This was a great business story because this was somebody who saw what was going to happen in the area, started running a ferry, started running inns, and made his millions. Okay, maybe not millions, but made a lot of money. This is Logan Inn that during the Revolutionary War served as a hospital, and George Washington actually stayed here 4 times, not as a patient, but just as a general.
Now, these locomotives are powered by a 2,250 horsepower, 3-stroke, 8-speed and turbocharged and connected to an electric generator that produces.
By Monday's early meeting, I was refreshed. I had almost felt like I had a mini vacation. My mind was ready to engage. I was ready to be fully present. I was ready to go. One of the reasons I was also able to be ready to go was because I had avoided some stressors that usually would have tripped me up. Air travel is not the same as it had been. We know that. There are delays, there are cancellations at a level that we have not experienced in a long time. So for me, what that meant was this is an early meeting Monday. I can old school get there on Sunday afternoon. But if there's a long delay, if there are canceled flights, that's going to put me getting in midnight, 1 a.m. And there were actually some participants in this meeting that had happened to. Oh, I felt for them. And I was grateful that I had decided I was going to get in on Saturday night. Yes, that meant an extra night stay, but it was the weekend. It was worth it because this was a meeting I did not want to miss any of on Monday and Tuesday, and I wanted to be fully present. So a couple of things that I did. Number one, I did get in much earlier. The other thing that I did that was quite different for me was that I usually would rent a car because I want the flexibility of having that car. I looked at all of the major airports, all of the major car rentals at the airport where I was flying into, and all of them had recent horrible reviews and experiences where, no exaggeration, there would be 1 person working the counter, 30 people in line. There were pictures of people waiting to rent their car, to get their car, and it was 3-hour waits and longer. And I said, no, I'm not going to have that kind of stress. So I called a limo service for an 1.5-hour ride from the hotel airport where I was staying on Sunday morning to New Hope, Pennsylvania, which was my final destination. And I could get addicted to this, and here's why. Because instead of an 1.5-hour drive there and then back to the airport on Wednesday morning, I had an 1.5 hours that I could get stuff done and accomplished. So I was able to work during that drive, which then gave me time to play on Sunday afternoon. While I was at the airport Saturday morning waiting for my flight, I filmed my other stress management tips that I used. Stress management at the airport can be a challenge. The 3 things I have found to help me the most: 1 is loafers, not wearing shoes that have shoelaces, because that can be a pain, even as comfortable as running shoes might be in an airport. 2nd is get there earlier even than the 2-hour window that's recommended. The last time that I traveled, I got here the full 2 hours beforehand, but there were, without exaggeration, 80 people in line to check bags and hardly anything open to check. We almost missed the flight because of that. So I always get here super early. And because of that checked bag fiasco, I decided this time, if at all possible, I was just going to do carry-on. Now, for a business trip with business clothes and workout clothes and food, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, all of that, yeah, it was a challenge. I had to repack a couple of times, so that was kind of stressful, but definitely I did not have to wait in the long line checking a bag today. My goal for you is that you finish your travel fulfilled, not frustrated, that instead of being exhausted, you're energized, and you can do it. You can have more fun and get more done. They actually work together. My challenge is find for yourself what is an area, just one, pick one, that is a stress for you when you travel. And brainstorm. I've given you some ideas of what I experienced, what I experimented with, and I came home with plenty of energy. I was fully engaged while I was there. I had plenty of mental energy there and came home with energy left for family and for work the next day. So for yourself, what is it that you want to work on, play with, come up with an experiment and try it? As you iterate through that, you're going to have more fun, get more done, and be less stressed in your travel. Thanks for being here. Remember to subscribe and click that notification bell. And until next time, find your path and fulfill your unique potential.